Okay, hello everybody. So today is going to be another live stream and quick one this time. Well, I don't know how quick, but quicker than the last one at least. Because in the last one I tried to do this blindfolded coding thing and it didn't work well. Like I had this problem at some point, my indexing for the lines was wrong, so I was typing code here and it was supposed to go up there in the constructor and everything was messed up. Eventually the project was working, so I managed to code this Immordnilab machine, this fun idea that I saw on Vsauce's channel. And it did end up working quite nicely by the end, and it was interactive, but it didn't go as good as I planned. And I really wanted this one to work well because to code this blindfolded, I used that Leo tool that I explained in the live stream eventually when I showed you how I did it, and that is something that I want to present at the conference next week, and I really want to put on the conference poster this that it makes coding so easy that you can even do it blindfolded. And not because that you should do it blindfolded, but because if the coding part in class is made easier, then you can better interact with the class. So somehow it's a pedagogical tool. And if I cannot really do it live like this, then I can't put this on the poster. So I want to try one more time. Now, today we're going to code another one of the ideas I got from Michael on his channel. I just ran out of ideas and I took one that related to this one. I mean, I have a lot of ideas, but I wanted something similar in difficulty, and this was it. It's an optical illusion. All of these balls here actually have the same color, but because they have those bars on top and the bars are in different colors, they appear like the balls themselves are different in color. And the thing I want to code today is actually inspired by this effect here that Michael has where he's talking and those bars are coming over his face. And you can kind of see the skin, his skin looks like a different color, even though it's not. It's just those bars on top of it. So I want to implement a similar effect in JavaScript using the camera and then some tricks with the canvas. And this is the reason why in packaging people use like red net bags like this one. They make oranges look much more appealing like so. So I find it really funny that this optical illusion is pretty much everywhere I go in the supermarket. And I thought it's a good idea to have this final project with it. All right. So I think that okay, hi Madara. I think that I'm ready to give it one more shot, and it really has to work this time. If it doesn't, then it just means that I cannot have that poster, and I have to think of another way to somehow attract the participants' attention during the conference session. So I will be coding here, and now this is an empty file. It just shows the IP here because I have Visual Studio Code open with the live server here. So this is an empty file at the moment, and this is where I'm going to do the coding. I will also close this Explorer part here because we won't use so many files today, and I think that it shows more of the screen. So basically, you will see me just coding here and debugging things here in the browser. And I will begin. Okay. Yeah, so you will learn how to use this app. So somebody has downloaded Leo. You can learn how to use it and how to install and how to use it next week, or probably next week. So there will be a video tutorial on the channel explaining how to use it. And it's coming next week, I believe, probably Friday or Saturday next week. It will explain how to use it in practice with a demo. So you can wait for that. And thanks for the interest. And now let's begin. So it has to work. Oh, no pressure. We begin with basic HTML structure. So starting with the doc type and then the HTML opening tag, and let's remember to close it as well. And in the head section, I'm just going to add a title tag, and let's call this Bezold camera effect. And let's close the title tag like so, and also add the page body here. Now the body is empty for now, but we should be able to test if I switch back to the browser. And now it still shows the IP address up in the browser tab. But if I'm going to do a refresh, it should now show the name of the application. So Bezold camera effect should appear there. Let's go back to the code and start implementing this canvas with the background. So by background, I mean those alternating colorful lines, the red, green, blue lines that just alternate like that. I want to generate that procedurally on a canvas. So inside the body, I'm going to add the canvas element with this ID back canvas. And let's close it. And if I'm going to save now again and open this in the browser, you should not see the canvas because it's transparent by default. But I have the developer tools open. So inside the developer tools, the back canvas should appear there, listed among the other DOM elements. Now I'm going to go back and set the size of this canvas using JavaScript. I don't usually do this, but now we do it because the size of the canvas and the size of those bars, like how thick those lines are, should have some kind of nice property to them. And I want to list them as kind of parameters of this application here at the top. So the size is 720, and I'm going to set the back canvas width and the height to this size. The reason I use 720 is those lines, like they are 3 lines, and I want their thickness and the fact that they are 3, so that count to be divisible by the size of the canvas so that they complete the canvas in a nice way. And 720 is just divisible by a lot of numbers. So if I'm going to refresh this now, it should show there on the right in the developer tools also the size of this canvas, the width and the height set to 720. And now let's go back to the coding. And this spacing between the lines, so I'm going to set it to be a value of 9. So 72 is a multiple of 9, and this should look nice. And the thickness, each of those horizontal lines, I'm going to set it to be a third of whatever this spacing is. And now we can take the context of the back canvas and start drawing horizontal lines. I'm just going to draw horizontal lines covering the canvas with that thickness and that spacing. So I loop with the y coordinate from 0, so the top, all the way to the size, so to the bottom, and I increase by that spacing at each time. And to draw the horizontal lines, I'm actually going to draw very thin, long rectangles. So I do a fill rect, at 0, so I start at the very left, x of 0, and the y is this parameter, this value coming from the for loop. And then the width of the rectangle is the whole size, and the thickness a very not tall rectangle. And now if I save and refresh, you should see some horizontal lines there, hopefully. And of course, this I wanted to do multiple times. So there's now empty space between the horizontal lines. And I want to do the same thing again, just a little bit below, like a thickness below, and again, a thickness below. Each of the times we do this, we can change the color. And this just screams out that we need to use a function. So I'm going to define a function containing this code like so. The function will be called draw horizontal lines with the ctx as a parameter and a color for the second parameter. So let's set now the fill style to be that color, and now I just align the rest of this code so it's inside of the function. And above here, we can call now draw horizontal lines with ctx and let's say red for the first value. And if we save and refresh, those lines should be red. And not only that, if I go back to the code and in here I call the function again, it should be able to draw lines with different colors as well. Now it's up to us if we add the new parameter, so we offset the y, or we can use tricks available in the context of the canvas, like this translate. We don't have to translate horizontally at all, but if we just translate vertically by that thickness, so if I put the thickness here, it means that now when we call draw horizontal lines, it's going to start not at 0, 0, but at 0 thickness. So just below the first red line that was drawn there horizontally. And again, I pass here context and the green color. I use lime, which is a light green, because it just looks better to me. It's a more bright color. Green tends to be quite dark otherwise. And hopefully, if I refresh now, it's gonna show red, green, white, red, green, white, red, green, white. And funny thing, if you squint your eyes, hopefully, you can kind of see the yellow color, a little bit light yellow, because the white is also affecting. So I have another video about the color yellow and how we can generate it from red and green pixels. So basically that's the reason. Now the pixels are just thicker because we use many of them for the thickness. But if you squint your eyes, it kind of blurs everything and you should see yellow. Okay, so the remaining thing we have to do is fill that white section with the blue. So similar kind of code here. I just go back and translate again by the thickness. So this translation is cumulative. We already translated once, we translate again. And now we can draw horizontal lines on the CTX with blue. And hopefully the background should now be visible and it should alternate red, green, blue forever. And we can begin drawing our video stream, like the camera stream, on top of it. Now, in that example I showed from Michael on Vsauce, he put his cameras, like the videos, it wasn't a live effect, it was recorded. But anyway, he put his cameras on top of each other because that was a short. So you have the portrait form. But now I have this kind of square, so it really begs to have a 2x2 video elements there. And I'm going to do something like that, so it's a much better use of the space here. And for that, we have to go back to the code. And I want to define video elements and group them together just below the canvas in the body of the HTML. So I will look for the place where we define the canvas tag. And here I just go to the end and implement a div. Let's call it video grid. And this is going to contain 4 videos. So one video element like so, and another video element, this is going to be on its right. And now I want the line break so that I can define the other 2 video elements that are below. And now to populate these videos with the camera footage, we have to go somewhere down, maybe below all of this, and ask the navigator media devices to get this camera streams. So we ask get user media, and I only wanted the video this time. So I set video to true, and here this returns a promise. So I have to wait and then get the stream object. And with the stream object, we are going to populate all those videos from above. To get them, I do a query selector. So we do this, we get all the videos. And for each video, one by one, let's call them V, we are going to do the following 2 operations. First, we set the source object to this stream so that they know what to play. And they don't play by default. We also have to call the play method like this. Oh. And now if I save and go back to this, it should show my videos not on top of the canvas because we haven't done any kind of styling yet. By default, they will appear alongside it somehow. So I'm going to try scrolling, and I don't know if this works, but I use like 2 fingers on the touchpad, and they should be pretty much all 4 versions of me somewhere under the canvas element. And they are bigger, quite big, so if they are really big, they are not going to have that grid layout that I imagine. But when we resize them eventually, they should look okay. So the thing that I want to do now is not have them below the canvas, but on top of it. And for that to happen, we need to start working with some CSS. So let me go back in the code. And to define CSS, I'm going to go back in the head section. So let's go look for this title, and just below the title, we do implement the style sheet. So let's code the CSS in its own file like this. And I'm going to create style CSS by pressing Ctrl N. So this generates a new file. And let's also save it so that we don't forget. And the name of this file is going to be this style CSS. And in it, we are going to give a style to this video grid and actually also to the canvas element. So the video grid we can access by its ID, but all canvas elements are also going to be affected by this style, and we set the position to absolute. This means that all of them will essentially start at the top, and they will overlap themselves. So with this small change, if I save and go back to the demo, similar thing as before, but the only difference should be that the videos start just on top, like on top of the canvas. And by the way, I have 2 cameras here. So I do this because in Windows, at least, you can't use the same resource in multiple places. So my camera that you see me on the left is somewhere up, and the camera on the laptop is the one in use for this project. So a little bit different angle, but hopefully you get the point. I really hope what I'm talking now makes sense. Yeah. So videos are too big. They need to be the same size as the canvas, or actually half the size of the canvas, so we can fit 4 of them. And that means we cannot style this, well, we could, but anyway, we can't style it so easily in CSS unless we use some kind of grid layout and some fancier tricks. But the faster way to do it is to go back to index HTML, and in the JavaScript code we can look for where we play the videos, and just below that I'm going to set the style of the videos, so the width and the height of each video is going to be half the size in pixels. And now on Chrome at least, the aspect ratio, I think, should be preserved. So the videos will have some large spacing between them vertically. And that's okay at the moment. We can do something about that soon in CSS. But there's also a very thin horizontal spacing. And this is because when we add the video elements next to each other below like that, the line break is like a white space. So this very thin thing in the middle I want to remove, and I can do that by going back to the CSS. So Control Tab like this, and then setting a font size of 0. So if we set the font size of 0 to that div that contains the videos, essentially that line white space between the videos is going to disappear, and the videos should align touching themselves in the middle. So it looks like they are fitting there quite well. To fit vertically as well without the stretching, so I don't want stretching, that looks very bad. We also give to the video element a style, and I'm going to set here the object fit property to cover. And this should now cover that background entirely by somehow cropping the essential parts in the video, the middle part. But I, of course, want to see the background lines as well. So I found it looks really nice if we show the videos as circles. And we can do that by going back to the CSS and adding here a border radius to each of the video and set that to 50%. It essentially turns them into circles like that. And the final thing we still need to do is that canvas that is going to be on front of everything. Remember, the canvases are transparent, so if I'm going to draw another canvas like the one in the background, but let's say only with the red lines, it should see through them. We should be able to see through the red lines, and the effect is going to appear already now. So let me go back to the code, and this is the CSS, so I have to Control Tab again. And below the div that I defined at the top for the, what was it called? The video grid, something like that. I'm going to define another canvas. So we can look for that closing div, and just below that I'm going to specify another canvas with the ID front canvas, and let's close it like so. And I need to make sure that the size of this one is also consistent. So I'm setting here the width equal to the height of this front canvas, and I'm setting it to the size. And below here we have a little bit of a problem because I'm using this object called CTX, not an object, this variable name called CTX. And now we're going to have two contexts to work with. So really we should rename this one. I use the F2 command for renaming in the project. And this one is going to be back CTX. And now below it, we can define the front CTX as well. So this front CTX is going to be coming from the front canvas, but in the same way that we do with the back CTX. And now, somewhere below here, we can call the draw horizontal lines function for the front CTX, and let's use the red color. And if all works, this should be the first time you see the effect. Because if the red lines are showing on top, it's like that bag with the oranges inside. So basically, you should see somehow the background here and my face and everything with a reddish tint. Only because there are some red lines in front of it. Of course, you see the red there, but somehow we also get to see the impression that the wall behind me is reddish. Of course, it's not. You have the other camera proof on here on the side then. Anyway, I'm not done. I want to show also the other colors somehow creeping in. So the red I only want for the top left video. That means we have to do some modifications in the code. So here, I want to somehow specify that I only want the horizontal lines to cover a square of half the size. So this is going to be a parameter, the last one. And below, where we are implementing the function, I'm going to add a last parameter here. So size. And by default, I'm going to set this one to be the capital size, which is this parameter defined all the way at the top. So the function calls we did until now are going to work by default. But if we overwrite it like we just did with half the size, then now this new parameter, lowercase size, has to be used. So I'm doing find and replace with capital size. I want to replace it with the lowercase size here and another one here. And now that function should still work because it has the parameter value being used and not the global capital size. I mean the size in all caps. So if I'm going to save this and refresh, it should only show the red effect with the lines on the left, top left video. And moving on to show to the right side. So on this front canvas, I'm gonna translate half the size to the right. And I also have to translate just a little bit, like one of that thickness from the top, so that the green lines on the left continue seemingly on top of the video on the right. So that gives a very nice effect. So going back here, I'm going to move all the way down where the drawing on the front canvas is happening. And the first thing we do is translate half the size horizontally and just a little bit that thickness vertically. And then we draw the horizontal lines on the front CTX with the line and half the size. Save. And Alt Tab and refresh. And of course, obviously, you see a lot of, I hope this works, a lot of green behind me, and probably my face is green. I'm almost turning into the Hulk here. Roar. I will turn into the Hulk if this effect doesn't work. Last but not least, I want to add the blue in the bottom. So just below the green, that means I will translate again by half the size. And again, for it to match the blue also by the thickness vertically, but horizontally I don't. So going back here, I'm going to translate 0 horizontally, half the size plus the thickness vertically, and draw horizontal lines on the front context, blue, and then half the size because I want only a small square of those horizontal lines to be there. Save, Alt Tab, and there it is. And I'm really shaking right now. Like, if this doesn't work, I have to think of a new design for the poster, and there are not so many days left for the conference, so I really hope it worked. So, and I can't even see now because the light is so bright that it takes a while to see it. Okay, it works. I'm done. Yay. Phew. Let's check the chat. So some things have happened there. Minion Toby, yeah, you'll be fine. I can't express how happy I am that this worked out. So yeah. Yeah, SFS engineer mentioning, yeah, I actually won't post videos anymore either. So in the last live stream, the one with the where the blindfolded thing didn't work out, I explained that I really stopped making videos and I don't have any plan to come back, at least at the moment. Maybe someday, but anyway, the reasons I don't post anymore, I mentioned in that one. Hi, sheesh, I still can't see very well. Nicolas del Puerto, excelente. Yes, it worked. Halimun, okay. I really have to do something. I just can't see well. Um, when you have your eyes closed for a very long time, like in the morning, and you just put the lights on, you don't see well, and that's what's happening. By the way, funny thing, that's also the reason pirates seem to have had the eye patch on one eye, because that eye is adjusted to darkness. It's not because they were missing an eye, but because that eye is adjusted to the darkness and the other one to the light. So if they have a battle all of a sudden and they have to go under the deck where it's dark, they can take that out and immediately see what is there. So a similar thing I'm experiencing now, Radu the pirate. So Honeymoon, yeah, it's nothing anyone can do. So it's just, I think that the platform, the YouTube, is not doing the things in a way that I want. And the way I teach the video tutorials, I am not very happy with the results. And I would like things to be more interactive. But making things more interactive, like the competition I organized in the summer, was very tiring. I was very exhausted with that kind of project. So there are many things that I don't know how to do in a way for it to be interactive and be maintainable. And the videos that I do all the time, they are easy to make. I just don't have motivation to do that kind of content anymore. So maybe someday I figure something out. Yeah. Yaver Havid, maybe. I'm leaving videos as well, not just the live streams, at least at the moment. Pesterenan, hey, hi. Well, you are one of the main reasons I did this again, because I asked people if they are convinced about the blindfolded thing, and I wasn't convinced either, so I had to do it again, and I'm so happy it worked out. And thanks for pointing it out, because if I would have just used the other video in the poster here, I'm sure people would have complained that you didn't really do it, even though it would be like possible with small improvements there. Anyway, so thanks, and yeah, you can see why I'm stopping with the videos in the other live stream I posted on Saturday. So I explained everything in that one. And thanks, Minion Toby, for explaining that. Um, yeah, cannot be really in a simple sentence. Many reasons, and yeah. Hello from Iran. Hello from Finland. um, yeah. Uh, Best is just to watch that one if you're curious, and that's it. Yeah, okay, so Minion Toby is saying something about the videos. Probably meaning the videos on the website there. Yes, so probably I was saying something about the video on the top left, but it would be that one. So that's my top left. Uh, and it's in the top left, so it's what I'm pointing is good, but you have to imagine me on the right of the video. Yes. Thank you, Minion Toby, for explaining those things. And yay, I did it. Hi, Yusuf. Thanks. Uh, DB13162 and everybody. Yeah, thanks. It's really great that it worked out this time. Um, yeah. Okay. So YouTube is showing handle for the profile instead of the name. Okay. All right. Live stream programming challenges would be cool. Yeah. I thought about that. So, okay, so the reason I invented this tool that I used now to code this Leo tool, so uh, I have it here, and it really coded everything for me. Is because I used it to make videos very quickly. So it really reduced a lot the amount of editing that I need to do when making YouTube videos. A lot. And I was bothered by a lot of issues in the editing, like for example, mistakes that don't really seem to add anything worthwhile when you encounter them. So this week I will publish this video, how to edit coding tutorials. And it's more like how I edit coding tutorials. You will see the kind of things I used to do before I had this tool. And this really is a tool for me. I invented it for me to make videos. And recently I'm experimenting with it to be used in the classroom as well. There are some fears about that because some people think that it gives a kind of false impression that you are too good at coding if you use that. But like the poster says, the benefit is that you can much better interact with the class when you use it. And when you have this auto typing the code for you, there's no rush, there's no stress, there's no panic. So the teacher doesn't make typos, surprises, or bugs unless they plan to teach how to fix bugs. So somehow I'm now thinking, can it be used in the classroom so that you have better interact with the class? And that can also mean better interact with the live stream because I can definitely check the chat very well while I'm coding if I have a plan like this and interact with people that are on the chat, maybe even Discord or something. And eventually at the end or during the stream, maybe I can have breaks and I can ask people to contribute or modifications and a way to interact like that. But I feel like there are more things that need to happen. Like the chat is not enough. And Discord is two things I need to worry about. And someday maybe I figure it out and maybe I return and maybe live streams are something that I can focus on. But yeah, so really, with this tool here, I can show you it's really straightforward to code this whole thing again. So I can just remove all the code from index and remove the code from the style CSS, all the file there. And now where is it? And now the project is back in the beginning, so we haven't made any progress. But the difference now is that I can restart Leo from the beginning. And to see it on the top of the screen, I also have to do this. And I made it transparent so you can see through it. I did a very big demo of this in the other live stream. But what I didn't show is that if you do have a lesson plan like this, you can essentially just press a single key, like one key all the time, and you can even leave it pressed like that, and it's going to really go very quickly through the whole code, including this kind of debugging or testing or yeah, I had here the wrong setup for some reason. But basically, I also used it very often when preparing for a stream to like quickly go through the lesson. If I focus very carefully just by holding one key like this, and if I'm very careful, if I focus really carefully what's happening there, it's like a super fast forward of what is gonna happen and what I have to talk about when filming. And I need to be extremely focused when this happens. But it means that in couple of minutes before the live stream, and okay, sometimes there might be some kind of small issue, like here it was so fast that it missed one new line. But you're not supposed to use the tool like this. The whole point is that you can use the tool like this to somehow like very quickly remember what you're going to be coding. So if you're very focused before doing it, you will not be surprised even by your own lesson plan there. So I know it sounds a little bit funny. Okay, and creating these new files is a little bit problematic. So you see here, it made a mistake. S ended up here. This is the mistake that killed my stream last time. So I can pause the tool. Control P is a shortcut for pausing it and fix the file. And then unpause the tool and fix the style CSS. And now it's going to start to define that video grid and the canvas and so on. So there are some small mistakes that are happening because of this holding down. It's not working 100% perfectly all the time, but it is working most of the time, and getting this kind of fast-paced view of what the lesson is going to be like is really helpful before the lesson. And this can apply to real lessons as well, because when I teach in class, very often I have to practice and I have to look what I taught last year and do some modifications if necessary. but that takes a very long time to do. And do I have some bug here? That takes a very long time to do. And okay, I know what the problem was. um, yeah, this app is not made to code blindfolded, even though you could use it. The problem was in the Control H, size was already written there from the previous demo, so now it did a size, C size or whatever. So the only bug this time around. And now everything works. So with a few bugs there, but if you are really very focused, you catch those and you save a very much time um, practicing lessons as well. So it's not just the delivery, but also remembering how the lesson goes. It's not the same as looking at the code base, because when you introduce different concepts and you build an application, things have to happen a certain order so that you make sense and you don't overwhelm people with something that you only code because it happens after a while and so on. So this kind of plan that very quickly fast forwards to everything lets you quickly change parts of the plan. Like if you find that part of the plan is not good, you can turn on this editing mode and oh, not that. You can turn on this editing mode and then you can start doing modifications to your plan. So you can update old ones to be better in this way as well. All right. Anyway, so thought I do one of this demo again to how Leo works. Not like a tutorial. That one comes next week, but how I used it for this blindfolded thing, because really in practice my plans are not so detailed that they do the moving from different windows and everything. But when I'm blind, I just couldn't do even those things correctly. A single silly mistake, like Alt and Caps Lock instead of Alt Tab, is gonna shift Caps Lock to on. And actually, when Leo is on, the only um, keys that are triggering this system is the letter keys. If you type numbers, they won't happen. And if you type uppercase, they won't happen. Okay, it seems like uppercase with the shift doesn't happen. I didn't know about caps lock. It might depend on the computer. But anyway, a small thing like that might not trigger the auto typing. And the reason the numbers and the uppercase don't trigger it is because I very often want to do modifications to parameters, set them to different values without pausing the auto typing. Uh, so then I can put different values, and often when I comment and I say something like to do, I write them in caps. So again, it's something that I want to have access to without pausing auto typing, because it's just for me a great experience. And this tool is perfect for me. So I have nothing that I want to change for it. It's just ideal. I did it in the last 4 years and it had went through many iterations. Uh, and now the idea of making it public is I hope that we can figure out what others need as well and we can change the tool in that direction. So it's open source, it's on my GitHub, and some of you found it already. Yeah, okay, back to the chat. So yeah, so after Minion Toby said those things, yeah, okay. Can I add YouTube chat into Discord? Really? I have never tried that. I know I can add it to the OBS or whatever. Um, yeah, so code completers don't work. if you've noticed my tutorials, I don't have these kind of fancy things that VS Code has. That when you start typing a function name, automatically it gives you a list of things that you could type there. The reason I don't is because when those open, they block very much of the code. And when students watch in class, not everybody is exactly where you're typing. Some people are behind. And then all of a sudden a window appeared and it blocked their view. So this auto-completing tool for me serves a similar purpose as those in VS Code that are enabled by default. It lets you type the code with less mistakes or zero mistakes if you really rely on it, like I did in this blindfolded stream. But the focus is always on the blinking cursor. This is very important when teaching because everybody can focus on this one thing and nothing fancy is breaking it. And I'm not even talking about Copilot that shows the code already there, but a little bit transparent. I mean, come on, when you're in the classroom and there's a projector behind, the projector makes things a little fuzzy. You can't even tell if a code is really there or if Copilot is just suggesting something that may or may not end there. So 99% of the time I have it off. And I don't use this tool in class, don't get me wrong. I have the idea that it could be used in class, but I have made 2 or 3 big workshops with this when visiting other universities, and I teach it. Okay, I use it occasionally in class, but I counted only about 4 times this autumn semester. So, of course, most of my teaching is still live and not uh, not using this tool, but I do practice a lot before the lessons, and I do have my notes with me, and it's not uh, it's some kind of plan ahead of time. But I've never put them into this format. All I have in this format are my YouTube tutorials. I've saved all of them in this, so I can redo any video in the past since 2021, uh, any time basically. So I find it really useful, but it's a tool that was made just for me. And I'm sure many people would like to do things differently. And that's the point of publishing it and also going to this conference that many researchers are going to go to and many teachers who research teaching are going to go there. So hopefully they will see it, they will know about it. I already know some people have mixed opinions, but it's normal. And now I can use this poster idea. So I'm so happy I can do that because um, it's cool. And I think it attracts attention when people see it there and people maybe want to talk to me about it. Yeah. Um, yeah. Yeah, of course you have to code all the lesson plan yourself before you start using it. And even you have to do tedious work like put it so that the cursor moves in the proper way and tinker with the VS Code settings and know what things it does automatically and what not. It's tedious to use it. I use it well because I've made it and I've used it for 4 years and I know it in and out. But for teachers, it's not an immediate thing that uh, you will start using. And it's only useful in the teaching scenario. Like, uh, of course, when you are actually developing, you should have the tools VS Code has. And if you're a good developer, you should have also AI and whatever things that help you out. Just know that it makes mistakes and know that you should be very careful about what you accept and what not. But uh, that's only a problem for beginners who don't know any better and see a lot of code and they test it and it kind of does what they need, and that's great. So they accept it like that and problems start to happen. And really this vibe coding is is a nice idea only if you build a very quick prototype to show a proof of concept, but the end result becomes a mess. Um, so do use those, do learn how to use those things. But there is a big problem because if you study coding only using those tools, um, you end up not knowing even where the special keys on the keyboard are because you always rely on code completion. And like in the past, we used to do a lot of handwriting that had the effect of really consolidating the information when you start to type, to write things down. And typing, it's a similar thing. But with the code completion, you nowadays, if you're a beginner and you have the default options in VS Code on, you don't learn to type things from scratch anymore. And that's a problem because you never really take it step by step, line by line, letter by letter to understand why those things are there. You just see some quickly generated snippets. They kind of make sense, but then understanding is not as deep as it used to be. So from the learning point of view, it's very tricky because it's very tempting to just paste your assignment to AI, get the answer, finish homework in 10 minutes. What am I saying? 1 minute, and then go and have fun. Um, Good students look at the answer, they read it, they think about it. Maybe they ask AI, why is this and that? It's okay, but it's really not the same as the struggles we used to do before all these things and before Stack Overflow. And um, like when you all had only you had a programming book, you really had to very deeply understand every line there. And that knowledge is really helpful today, even in spotting AI generated code mistakes, because there are a lot of them. And yeah. All right. Um, okay. I don't know who is Yair Tovar, but hello. um, you're just using Notepad to code. Me too. I used Notepad plus plus to code, and in my videos until after the Puzzle Cam project, I think. I had no problem with that, but I had some students here who were like, "Oh man, you should change to VS Code," and eventually I gave up and changed it. I just like the somehow smoothness of the letters and the style, and I found this um, nice theme that I liked using, and it kind of became a theme I used in all the videos, and somehow just for the look. But you probably have noticed that I never used the features in the editor. I really just prefer to focus on the teaching itself. And when I do live streams, that tends to be off the table. So I do let it autocomplete things for me, and I do have AI support uh, because I don't expect people to really follow along with the live streams letter by letter. The projects there often go back and forth, and they are um, very much more about the thought process. And I try to explain that as much as possible. So if some big code gets appearing all of a sudden, I just explain what I'm doing, that I'm reading it, I'm checking if it's okay, and so on. Uh, the videos I have on the channel, some of them are like the tutorial I gave today, where it should be a step-by-step explanation and something you can follow along. Sometimes there are those live streams where I demonstrate every time what happens when I have problems and things like that. And there are the very fast-paced, like when I'm coding on the train or the plane or something, and I want to just give a summary, a log of what happened in that. So it's those are just proofs of concepts, things I try really quickly to see if it works out. Um, and the code is usually a mess at the end. So I'm not interested in good quality. I'm just interested, does it have potential? For example, the Brio train track generator. I think I'm gonna eventually make a real project out of that. That is like making a puzzle, but the Brio pieces just snap together in a nice way. Maybe I'll even contact Brio someday and pitch the idea of an app like that. I don't know. I really like that they have the physical pieces, but I think a small game like that could be something nice as well. And maybe they could reward people in the top by giving them some real toys or whatever. I don't know. Half of me says don't do. I mean, kids should play with real toys. Not everything should be on the computer. Uh, but part of me found this mechanic in on the train, and it really works well. And I know how to make it even better. I just never had have time for it. So maybe someday. But yeah, so those are the kind of contents on the channel, and I'm gonna make a last video sometime in a month or so, explaining all the contents. And of course, there are also the funny videos or the things I consider funny or entertaining, like coding underwater and whatever. So those are, you don't learn so much from them, but some hints of learning things are in those as well. Yeah. Uh, in 2021, I did do some breaking changes. So the first versions of Leo, um, until before the virtual world, I think, um, phase two of the self-driving car course, there was a version of Leo that used a different format, and it's not compatible with the current app. But I don't bother converting them into this new format. So it's very likely I will never teach those again. The videos are just gonna be there in that way. And if I ever do some self-driving car thing again, uh, like the phase one, I will probably redo it. Um, I have been thinking, I have very, very many ideas. One of the things on the list are to redo the self-driving car with libraries. I know most of the things are without, but just to do a kind of comparison, like how fast you can get the same result with existing tools. Um, and I mean, back then, after the car, I thought about these other things that you could do, replace the car with a bunch of other things. But it felt to me like I'm not teaching you anything new. I'm just showing you cool stuff. So I I moved to more boring topics that I found are more educational somehow. So there was some change in the early ones, but I mean the like if I'm gonna open now some old project here. Hmm, I guess this is something about the drawing the yin yang symbol, and this is making a canvas that spins application. So you draw kind of like how pottery is being made. So there's the tutorial for that one, and I could teach it now, but very many of the things are in my notes section. So basically, um, they they need me to be focused and do some things, not just press one letter and everything becomes there. All my tutorials are really like that. And even creating the file seems to be automated. So if I start this and um, I create a new file and then I start typing from the tool, it creates me the file, it presses tab, so it jumps in the file, and then it starts to do the project with the spinning canvas drawing app, I suppose. Um, Yeah. And then at some point I will probably have to do some things. So here I need to add the style sheet, but I'm not going to add that. Like I will move the mouse and I know where the style sheet goes. And after that, the next comment tells me I have to click to create it. So basically control clicking this is going to create the file automatically in VS Code, and I know that. So I'm already inside it, but it's I can't do these things blindfolded. Um, and these kind of very simple um, things, like now that I should have added here an enter there, I can pay attention to those when recording, and yeah. And after all of these pauses, every time this save icon appears here, I usually save and test the application in the browser. So um, whatever is being happening here um, should be visible in the browser as well. Um, I don't understand why there is an error now. I think I didn't um, I didn't save some file there. So something like this, and then yeah, I can add the different width and height there to the canvas element, and then I can save again and test. So very easy to somehow mm, do step by step and remember how I did that application. But what I'm doing now is really, this is definitely not rehearsed ever since I made that video where you could draw on the rotated canvas. So then you have to control click to create main.js, and inside it you start typing here this kind of code, and uh, okay, start drawing basically. So on pointer down, you set the drawings to true. You also need the drawing to be defined somewhere at the top. So yeah, after you do that, you continue below. So I'm going there and adding the pointer move, event listener, and so on. So I do one of these very quick pass-throughs before recording each of the video, even though these plans I just accumulate in time. So at some point I record very many videos. And here it says me I have to do something. I have a line to, and I have to copy move to after begin path. Okay. So I have to copy to like copy like that. Mm, copy this move to after begin path apparently. I don't know why. I'm not now reading the code, but I just want to explain to you how my real process is like, because it's not blindfolded. So part of it really needs me to understand what is going on there, and then I can explain it. Um, and I have to copy this again for pointer leave. So I know I have to do something like that, and now this thing is blocking it there, but pointer leave. And if I save this now and go back to the project, I can now draw on it. So all the drawing is implemented. I can draw different lines. And normally this Leo window just goes somewhere on the side here so you don't see it, and it doesn't block me when I have to click on things. So it's behind me or maybe on a different screen when I'm recording. And I guess now it tells something about the rotation angle. So I suppose it's a global variable. I figured that out later, but yeah. And then at the bottom seems like I have to implement an animation function that is going to do this rotation of the canvas somehow, um, like so. And then request animation frame, animate. That looks good. So it looks like things are okay. And this is okay. And seems like It works. There are still some things that probably I didn't like very much in this implementation, so I don't know what else I did really. But I know. And so if I just press the mouse here and if I don't move it at all, if I don't move it at all, it's not drawing the line. I have to constantly move just a little bit. So all the extra code is taking that into account. Yeah, so hope that this was somehow informative and explained how the videos are really made. Um, yeah, I believe that you use just Notepad without plus plus. I'm not like that. I like the simple things like closing some curly braces automatically and so on. Yeah. Okay, F Doors man, hello. And yeah, front dive, happy to see you again. And I think I'm okay at teaching. I think I'm good. I get a lot of good feedback. I have to say, I put very much effort into it. So it's my job. I'm not a coder for very many years. And yeah. Um, entry song, yeah. I don't have AI courses. I teach some AI concepts in different courses, but I don't have AI courses specifically made. Okay. So I think that that's yeah, this is really the last live stream. I have no plan to do any more. The demo worked. I'm happy about it. Two videos are still coming, teaching how to use this Leo application and showing how I edit some of the mistakes out from the videos where I make mistakes. I haven't done that for ages because really I use this all the time. Like the course that I did in the summertime, the decode the drawings is also somewhere. I just don't know where I have it. No, these are something not for YouTube actually. They were for work. I have some other places where I have some other places where I store my plans. Not all of them are on this computer. But yeah, but pretty much all the other course should be somewhere. Let's see if I have if I find it for the last demo here, but mhm. Yeah, I don't know if I can find it, but it's probably somewhere. I think I backed it up. I think I backed it up on my hard external hard disk. Mm. No, I won't be able to find it. Anyway, okay, so that's it. Thank you all for watching and for staying with the channel and even coming to this last live stream that was fixing the problem from the previous one. I'm so happy it worked out. I really can now just confidently state that you could do it. Not that you should. Okay, so thanks everyone, and have a great autumn, winter. Yeah, thanks. And uh, I don't really post anything else than YouTube, so you can stay in touch on Discord or comment on YouTube. I still reply to comments. I just don't post any more videos. All right, bye bye.